The Rugby League year 2010, the Four Nations final, Australia and New Zealand at the Suncorp Stadium here in Brisbane for the fourth time in 6 years. The Aussies face the Kiwis in a major final. They've lost two of those and taken to extra time in another. Humid night here in Queensland. Crowd making its way in, and this is the way the Australians will line up. Slater's returned, Morris, Tate, Tonga and Tuqiri. Lockyer comes back as well to skipper the side. Cooper Cronk is the scrum half. The forwards, Matt Scott, Cameron Smith, Dave Shillington, Luke Lewis, Sam Thaiday, Paul Gallen. And the bench, Tom Leroy-Lars, Greg Bird, Kurt Gidley and Nate Miles. And the coach is Tim Sheens, yet to lose a test with the green and golds. For the world champions, Lance O'Hire at fullback. They've had a little bit of disruption because Junior Sau hasn't recovered from a dead leg, so Simon Mannering takes his place in the centres alongside Sean Kenny-Dowell, Jason Nightingale, Sam Perrott on the flanks, Benji Marshall, their skipper, and Nathan Feen at scrum half. And the forwards, McKendry, Luluai, Blair, Harrison, Matulino and Smith. Selection changes there by Stephen Kearney because Eastwood goes to the bench with Isaac Luke, Frank Paul Nuasala and Sika Manu. Stephen Kearney is the Kiwi coach. So this is a scene in the New Zealand dressing room. Disappointed to lose to the Kangaroos at Eden Park last Saturday. They've been saying all week that they couldn't have played much worse, but they returned to the scene of their 2008 World Cup triumph, hoping to repeat that 34-20 win that night. Anticipation amongst the crowd. They beat New Zealand, did the Aussies, 34-20. Last week a 4-point winning margin, which was far from the norm in recent clashes. They won 12-8 in Melbourne in the Anzac Test in May. And remember, 20-all was the score in the Four Nations last year at the Twickenham Stoop. The English supporters have stayed on here. They were hoping against hope they might be cheering the English team on to glory tonight. I think, as they did in 2008, the Englishmen in this crowd will be supporting the Kiwis. Still making their way in. They're wondering whether this will be Darren Lockyer's last appearance for Australia at the Suncorp Stadium. His first appearance came in 1998, 30-12, a victory against New Zealand. He's played 8 times for the Aussies here, and he scored tries on each occasion. 12 tries in all on this ground. They're still here, the English, and Steve-O, so are we.
Yeah, it's a shame that we're not out on the big stage, but Australia and New Zealand, they really have played exceptionally well this tournament. Interesting to see how New Zealand, that has been talked today that the coach Stephen Kearney has contacted Wayne Bennett, of course, the guru of Australian coaching. Of course, remembered in the World Cup, he was an assistant to Stephen Kearney. Certainly worked on that occasion. Maybe the magic from Wayne Bennett can do it yet again. They know they've got to lift their game. They were outplayed last week. The tactics were pretty poor. The support play equal to that. Defense wasn't all that brilliant either. So they know they've got to improve against the odds-on favourites, Australia.
Yeah, they must start better than a week ago. They were 18-2 down after 24 minutes, 34-10 down on the hour. There was a chance then that they might be humiliated, but a couple of late tries and Benji Marshall brilliance saw that that did not happen. But you can't go to the well all the time and rely on the brilliance of Benji Marshall.
And let's not forget that Tim Sheens, the Australian coach, is also Benji Marshall's club coach. A lot rests on that man there, just going out onto the field of play. It's difficult to pick out with such great squads from either side. Is there a weakness? Well, Australia perhaps, there are a few eyebrows laid when Loti Tuqiri was brought back. I think he will be a man that the Kiwis will target, and likewise, and the opposite, Sam Perrott. He had a bit of a poor game last week. The green and golds really picked him out and gave him a rough time. And I would suggest that Cooper Cronk, Darren Lockyer will be trying to force that out wide.
You know, Eddie, getting into the right emotional state is important before you play a game of rugby league, and I don't think New Zealand managed to do that last week. The haka was an extended version. Maybe there was too much of an emotion put into that, and by the time they got to the game, they didn't find the aggressive level, but the controlled aggression that you need to play very well in a test match against this Australian team. And I think that that's one of the things they will have addressed this week, and hopefully have improved. They need to handle between the now and the start of this match, emotionally and mentally, getting that under control.
You're exactly right, Phil, and we'll get a great idea where these two teams are emotionally. Let's have a look at the end to the first 4 sets for each team and see who switched on at the start of this test match.
Well, we've got a tremendous view here. We're actually flanked on one side by Stephen Kearney and his coaching staff, and I notice inside the box is Sean Hoppy. He is there helping out the New Zealanders tonight.
Please stand for tonight's national anthem.
Well, first of all, of course, we have the anthems, then we have the haka by the Kiwis, and who will ever forget the way the Aussies advanced towards them in 2008. Here's the New Zealand national anthem, sung by Anna Van Ryle. Anthem, and it was good to see that the Australian crowd responded positively after the Australian anthem was booed in Auckland last week. Nothing like that here tonight. The Australian national anthem's coming now then, and this will be sung for us by Gregory Moore. Gifted, or is it the officials who've gifted them? Anyway, they've gifted the Australians a 6-point advantage, and that's a 40-20 attempt. That's a 40-20 attempt that's come off.
Fantastic.
Sensational kicking.
Cooper Cronk, you know, at times has perhaps sat back and let Darren Lockyer dominate when he's played with him, but not tonight. He's commanding the ball far more, and what an excellent position. They set up, he knew it probably 2 plays before where he was going to be, just short of the 40 metre and close to centre field, aimed for the sideline and executed it perfectly.
Yes, Cooper Cronk, he opened the scoring in Auckland. He was at scrum half for the Anzac Test in May as well, and he's about to feed this scrum that has come about courtesy of his wonderful 40-20 kick.
Well, you keep your eye on Billy Slater here, don't you? Discussions.
Well, Lockyer is there as well, and he's directing the traffic. It'll come to him. No, it won't. They're going down the short side. It's Cronk himself.
Ricocheted off the loose forward, Paul Gallen.
Cameron Smith shows it and gives it to Gallen. It's intense pressure on this New Zealand line again.
Oh, Gallen's gone for Luluai.
Thaiday to Tate. Nearly through, just held up short. Thaiday is there this time, dummy half. Here is Lockyer. And Lockyer attacking the line again, gives it to Cronk. He'll stab the kick in behind the defence. An awful bounce again. And Nightingale's got no chance whatsoever to get out of trouble.
Great pressure.
They'll be delighted. Delighted. Tim Sheen's on the left. David Ferner, of course, in the centre of the screen. Familiar face to Super League viewers back home, David Furner.
They apply the screw early, don't they, the green and gold? They are controlling the game here.
They did manage to defend the 40-20, but they've conceded another set of 6 here.
Well, I think it's a similar pattern to when they played against England. What's the biggest difference at the moment? It's their ability to kick the ball accurately. Once for a try, once for a 40-20, and the third one for a goal line dropout.
That's a good goal line dropout too. It's a fumble by Lockyer. It went backwards. It's picked up by Shillington. The big man will drive it forward. That's a good hit though. Jeremy Smith leading the way, and down low was McKendry again. Here now is Matthew Scott. Exceptional debut against the Kiwis last week for Matthew Scott.
Big hit there. Jeremy Smith didn't miss him.
Smith to Lockyer, looking for the runners. Here's Slater. Oh, there's a huge hole out wide. Oh, he didn't find Brett Morris.
Well, he tried the basketball pass. Looks like he's picked up an injury as well. He slides into the attack. The outside, the utilization of the dummy runners is absolutely beautiful.
That's poetry. That is rugby league poetry, the way that they move perfectly, all at the right timing, until finally it fell down at the last. The pass misses over the sideline. It's a strange technique.
Yeah, the basketball pass far too high there for Morris.
I'll tell you what, Lance O'Hire was slow. He was very, very late on Billy Slater.
Well, don't underestimate the work that somebody like Sam Thaiday did in that move. While he wouldn't get the credit, but he went in as a decoy runner, held up the defence, and it leaves him very, very short. I think if we look back at that again, we'll see that New Zealand shouldn't have been as short as that for numbers, but it's the decoy runners and how they hold up the defence allows Billy Slater some room out wide.
And let's not forget the fact that Simon Mannering is playing out on its left centre, and he was in no man's land, totally confused.
Well, here come the Kiwis trying to build for themselves. This is Bronson Harrison. He disappears under the challenge of the 3 big men. And Jeremy Smith drives in. He looks at the referee then because he thought that tackle was a bit high. No whistle though from Archer. Lulawai. Here's Marshall. Pops the ball up neatly, but it was to a standing start, and he's snared by the Australian defence. Is Ben Matolino. Adam Blair now for the Kiwis. That's the last tackle. They're still inside their own half. That's the 40-metre line they're on. The kick will have to be good here. Good pressure from the Aussies. And here comes Lote Tuqiri. And they deal with that threat.
Brilliant defence. Absolutely brilliant. The commitment to the cause cannot be questioned for New Zealand here tonight. That is a big man. He's possibly the biggest man in the Kangaroo camp, Lote Tuqiri. Nightingale and Sean Kenny-Dowell, they've lifted him, thrown him over the side. He's panicked, lost the ball. And now 12 minutes into this game, this is a turning point in the match now for New Zealand. They've been under the cosh. Chance to attack and spend some energy in the right part of the field.
Well, this is a golden opportunity for them, 30 metres away.
Well, Tim Chings will be furious over that. It was a great take by Billy Slater, not the best kick. And he offloaded to the winger Tuqiri, and he really should have come inside.
Well, here they come. What have they got in the locker here? Thaiday grounds the runner, who was Lance O'Hire. And here is McKendry again, getting through a lot of work, is the Penrith player. Smith again will drive it in. Good hit again by Matthew Scott. Lulawai waits. They're 10 metres away, the Kiwis. Now then, Marshall, crowd holding its breath. Gets the ball away to Mannering. 4th tackle gone. The test of the Australian defence nearly over. O'Hire teasing them. Pops the ball up then to Blair. Going nowhere.
Look how they come out as a unit, the green and golds. They know exactly what to do in defence.
Well, the kick here will have to be good from Fien, and it's dribbled along the ground, and it came back actually at Lote Tuqiri.
Well, it looked too strong, didn't it? It just shows you what a rugby league ball can do. Bounced all over. Stephen Kearney will be happy with that.
Darren Lockyer The Australian captain under great pressure, 1 cap short of Kiwi Ruben Wickie's all-time world record set for New Zealand. He's winning his 54th cap tonight, is Lockyer, and Ruben Wickie actually could be getting another cap here tonight because he's on and off the field all the time. Length on the goal run, drop out to halfway. O'Hire is underneath it. McKendry once again. Good hits.
Oh, Matthew Scott, who really is putting himself around. Bang. Going low again.
Adam Blair to his feet, plays it to Luluai. Here's Nathan Fien. Oh, and the pass coming off Matulino. Chance has gone.
To be fair, it looked as though it was forward anyway, and Matulino was grasping at it. That was a problem that they had last week, the Kiwis.
Matulino making his first start at this level. A bit of a late introduction as well. I think a little bit of rejigging of the Kiwi pack because of the injury to Junior Sau.
That was a problem last week, as I say, with the Kiwis. They made too many errors, and it just eroded their confidence.
This is Willie Tonga. Leroy Lars has come on for Matthew Scott. He's had a very good opening 16 minutes. The kick from Cameron Smith flicks off a Kiwi boot. Gets to Lance O'Hire. Tries to go past Lockyer. Cronk was there. So too was Smith. Greg Eastwood of Leeds last year. The Canterbury Bulldogs next year. He's about to come on. That was high.
Yeah, it should be a penalty.
It is.
I think they're doing all right here, the Kiwis, Eddie. They're going to bring on a player who can make an impact, Greg Eastwood. Physically, they're up to it. In the middle of the field, you know, they had the Kangaroos a little tired, I think, in the last minute. They had possession, they were conservative with it. Here's a penalty, a bit of footwork. Just stepped, didn't he, in front of Leroy Lars, and that's why you get the swinging arm.
Yeah,
you get 20 metres downfield.
From Leroy Lars, that wasn't it? He's conceded a penalty.
And he won't get a pat on the back by his coach, that is for sure, giving them the good field position.
Good tackle by Brent Tate, helped by Thaiday. It was on the number 15, Matulino. There's Eastwood's first involvement in the Four Nations final. Well, he moved off the mark then by about 2 or 3 metres. Here is Marshall. Marshall then fires the pass, and it's with Mannering. He's not happy with the tackle. Tony Archer.
I'm not surprised. That was very dangerous indeed. Well, 2 penalties within the space of a minute. No, we can't have that in our game. I know he released him, but that is very dangerous indeed by Brent Tate.
So the Kiwis then with something to build on here as Matulino drives it in once again for them. 6-0 they trail. This is a golden opportunity for them though, 10 metres away from the line. It's Eastwood. Eastwood then gets it to Blair. Short ball from him, finds Smith. Smith is all wrapped up. First of all by Luke Lewis, then by Cameron Smith. Luluai to Fien. Now Marshall, magic from Marshall. Nearly.
It's important now the Kiwis camp down there. Okay, they might not score in this set of 6, but they've got to try to get a reverse, get another set.
That's Luluai trying to dart through the defensive line. They're less than a metre away from the Aussies' line. Back it comes to Nathan Fien. Up goes the kick again. This is a better one. It's more measured. Looking for Perrott. Comes off. Perrott does it. Yes, the referee says it's a good 20-metre restart off Sam Perrott.
Well, the idea was good. That's the second occasion. They pushed it right into the corner. It's a little concern to Stephen Kearney. But they are well and truly in this game. The defence is so solid, though, that they don't come out of their line.
You mentioned, Eddie, about this season starting in Wrexham in the snow and finishing here in Brisbane. And there's a lot of fatigue in these players. And I've been looking through the teams. There's actually 7 grand finalists in the Kiwi team and only 2 in the Australian team. So 7 of these players in this Kiwi side have played the most amount of football possible in club rugby.
Stand up, Greg!
Greg Bird will play the ball. Here is Gallen. Nice flick pass. Here is Bird again. Gets it wide to Willie Tonga. Oh, clattering challenge by Blair. They're in a match. The Aussies, they know that. Might have got a gift of a start.
Tonga's down. Picked up an injury there, which is not surprising. Adam Blair took him. Ow! Boof!
Cronk will hoist the kick high this time. Great hang time, allowing Luke Lewis and company to try and come forward. Brent Tate it is who gets there and completes the tackle on Sam Perrott. Here goes O'Hire again.
Stand now, two.
This is where in last week's game, and Brian's mentioned it already, New Zealand did this effectively twice as much as Australia. They'll pick it up and run from behind and play the ball. They made twice as much ground as the Kangaroos by doing that. And Australia, in their week's preparation, have spent a lot of time in trying to contain New Zealand from making easy meters that way.
Luluwai gets the ball away.
They've gone early, and that's a better kick.
Well, is it? Is it? No, it runs down. Brent Morris was content to allow that to run over the dead ball line.
The idea was there, and it shows that the Kiwis are gaining in confidence. When you're kicking early in the tackle count,
Wait, Billy.
some anxious faces in the coaches' boxes, both of them. Tim Sheen's there, and we saw Stephen Kearney and Tony Iro, his assistant, the former Wigan star, of course. The two men who are plotting the New Zealand assault on this Four Nations.
That play there, Eddie, just about finishes the fifth set that New Zealand have had possession in, and just looking at the finish that they've had to it, it hasn't been as good as you could expect from them. Nathan Fien kicked England to pieces in Wellington 3 or 4 weeks ago. He's got to get his kicking game on the mark tonight. It hasn't really been so far.
This is Sam Thaiday. It's getting just a little bit tetchy out there.
yeah, there's plenty of verbals and also quite a few high shots. Some are coming in late.
Oh, almost a break from Lewis. A very important tackle that was on him by Jeremy Smith. Oh, and there's a problem here. A problem for Luke Lewis. Jeremy Smith knows instantly that he's hurt. Called the attention of the referee.
Well, this will be a tragedy for the Australians. He's been in superb form. Picked up an injury earlier in this competition.
This is when you're very worried, when a player, and a tough player like that, stays down.
He'd almost broken the line by changing direction without losing speed, didn't he? What he did was quick, and he got through the hole and then just about pulled back here. Watch here. He comes off his right foot, puts himself in that hole, and then somehow, though, with the body's twisting, his ankle gets turned perhaps underneath him.
Have a look there. Jeremy Smith slides his stud stick in the ground, and I think Luke Lewis knows he might have done something bad to his ankle here.
Well, he was injured, wasn't he? Against England. Let's go, and there's the sign. I don't think we're going to see Luke Lewis for much longer in this match. The sign's gone out from the physios on the field. Let's go down to the sideline and Bill.
Well, he's not their only concern, Luke Lewis, because Brent Tate was subject to some concern just a moment ago. He's hobbling just slightly, but nothing compared to the state that Luke Lewis is in. And the second row, international second row of the year at the RLIF dinner in Auckland just recently, being carried from the field, and that is a very sad sight to see. He's had an outstanding Four Nations tournament. Well, that's the end of it for Luke Lewis by the look of things.
And he's had such a good tournament as well. He scored 2 tries against the English as well.
I think that's been an important rest too for New Zealand. A lot of the bigger guys have sucked in the air, recharged the batteries here now while Lewis has left the field. And that was probably an important breather for them.
And it's significant, Phil. There's a player less for the rest of this game. I don't think we'll see Luke Lewis again. That means some of the bigger guys, Tom Leroy Lars, Greg Bird is going to have to come on. Nate Miles is going to have to do more minutes than Tim Sheens would have hoped they'd have to do in this game.
Nate Miles is on immediately for Luke Lewis. It's with Lockyer now. Up goes the kick off that cultured left boot of his. Oh, and it's hanging everywhere. It's bounced horribly. And O'Hire is there. And I think did Greg Bird get him in goal? No, they didn't. He managed to escape.
Did well to the full-back. Oh, they're testing their arm, but it's very dangerous.
Marshall with the strength. A bit of help from his full-back as well. Stays in the field of play.
I'll give Ohio credit for a tackle there.
Boy, offloading about half a metre away from your line. That is dangerous
That's
stuff.
Sean Kenny-Dowell. He plays it to Thomas Luluwai. Greg Eastwood. That was high from Cameron Smith.
It's a great run too. I thought the Sean Kenny-Dowell one was a brave one to take the ball so close to your own try line. The two of their men there now with Luluwai have got them out of that danger zone.
This is the last tackle for New Zealand. It was a knock on though.
Oh, shocking mistake. The word's been said by Luluwai to Nate Miles. He thought Miles came in a little bit too late. Just had a bit of a word there by Tony Archer.
I think he's worried he might get a finger in the eye, did he?
think he came in a little bit late there, yeah. It's a bad error, though.
Yes, just a little fumble at the play of the ball. Mind you, playing at this pace, playing in this pressure, mistakes are, well, not acceptable, but understandable.
They're unacceptable in that part of the field, Eddie. We saw how that cruelled England in Melbourne.
There's pushing and shoving all over the place. Here is Thaiday to drive it forward for the Australians again.
It's a spicy international, and Tony Archer, the Australian referee, has got to keep a good eye on this. This could explode at any time.
Cronk gets it away to Slater. Slater, lovely dump ball over the top to Tonga.
Back to 6.
No, it's a knock on. I thought that had gone backwards. There was a possibility of a Kiwi arm in there as well. But it's a knock on, says Tony Archer.
It's a big call by the Australian referee. Just has a little look at the official and says, well, I thought it went back. Cooper Cronk trying to just calm things down.
Last week, Australia led 18-2 at this point. And here comes Isaac Luke, who will look to explode off the bench if he possibly can here tonight.
Well, the South Sydney Rabbitoh is famous for doing that, especially runs from dummy half. Over to Stephen Kearney, wants it a little bit quicker.
Lockyer having to get in the tackling there with Sika Manu coming at him. Good hit by Gallen, tremendous on Frank-Paul Nu'uausala.
He's been one of the stars of this tournament.
Oh, look at this tackling here.
That is great, isn't it?
Well, the English boys now at home, they're watching this. These are the standards. That's outside. It's not a 40-20 if it goes. And it does. He finds touch, but he was just a metre or so outside, was Nathan Fien.
That's a great kick. That's exactly what they needed to do to get themselves back into this game. They need to play more of the game down that part of the field. Kicks like that will help.
And again, he went early, went on the 4th.
What a year it's been for Nathan Fien as we see this tackle again from Paul Gallen.
He's a toughie, isn't he? Boy, and look at that. Combination tackles.
Some red meat challenges, isn't there?
Just had his foot over. And it's wise for them to go to the video to have a look at it, just to make sure. It's such an important game, this.
Half a metre, that's all.
What about Slater's awareness? I'm presuming he knew that he was over the line there. He must have made that decision otherwise. I think he'd have tried harder to perhaps get to the ball and keep it in play.
Willie Tonga in possession for Australia in centre field. Thaiday now. Sam Thaiday, probably one of the memories of the tournament when he chased down Sam Tompkins and scruffed him over the line like a rag doll in the game at Melbourne. Drive forward by Tom Leroyd-Lars. Just making the point about Nathan Fien. He started this year with a broken leg and a dislocated ankle. And he came back, won a grand final. Here he is now in the Four Nations final. But trailing at the moment, the Kiwis 6-0. Gallen struggling to get to his feet. Not happy with that attention, having a word with the referee.
I must say that Tony Archer is allowing a lot of latitude at the play the ball area.
The kick from Cronk will turn Sam Perrott around. Another brilliant kick from Cooper Cronk, but he does well. Perrott.
Brilliant from Cronk. You could see that they had the backspin on that ball when it came off his boot. Straight away, was always going to stand up in the in-goal area.
Oh, Ansahar has lost it again under pressure.
That is a great play from Lockyer. That is a wonderful play from Darren Lockyer. He hunted him down, forced the error.
And Jeremy Smith just forced the error as well.
Well, he went for a Cumberland throw. Not so sure that that was legal. And this is getting more than tasty. Every player, at every play of the ball, they're pushing, shoving, having a good old verbal at each other. Well, this looks like a Cumberland throw. And a drag away. It was one-on-one, but I thought that you couldn't do that. Use your leg, pull him across.
He did, Jeremy Smith.
Not seen by the official.
So Nathan Fien will feed the scrum for the Kiwis. Now Perrott. They will be buoyed by the fact that a dubious try is all that separates them at the moment. New Zealand in this Four Nations final.
Their defence has been a lot better this week, and they know it as well.
Sika Manu drives it forward.
When you can keep the green and golds quiet, your confidence slowly but surely will be lifted.
Manu to his feet, plays the ball there to Isaac Luke. Luke then to Lance O'Hire.
Did you notice how the Australian defence come out wide and just forced them right down the middle? Great tactics.
Off the boot of Marshall, it goes up, it hangs. It's straight up in the air though. Lote Tuqiri. Has he come up with it? No, he hasn't. Knock on from Lote Tuqiri.
That's one of them ones as a winger, Eddie. Do you take it? It's that far out, they're not going to score. They're not going to grab the ball and fall over the try line. There's an opportunity, or there's an argument that Lote Tuqiri should possibly have let Jason Nightingale take this ball and tackle him when he reaches the ground. It's that far out, it's not a try-scoring opportunity.
Look at the way the Kiwis celebrated it there as well with Bronson Harrison.
And they have every right to. We mentioned before the game kicked off that if Stephen Kearney thought there might be a weakness in this Australian side, it was going to be the winger, Lote Tuqiri. And it's proved right. This could be costly for the green and gold.
Well, you've been pointing the finger at him all the way through the tournament.
Yep.
So here come New Zealand. Benji Marshall gets the pass away brilliantly. That's Mannering. Now then it's time for Australia to defend their line. And let's see what the New Zealanders have in their armoury. Oh, Frank Paul Nu'uausala. And now a penalty for interference. Glum faces just next to us. Tony Iro, Stephen Kearney.
It was more than a leg pull, mate. He went in and he twisted the ankle. Keep it out of it. Don't come on here and start doing that stuff.
Well, they had 6 in the bank. Come up with an error yet again.
That's on report, that incident involving Isaac Luke. You feel the game is finely balanced at the moment, don't you?
That's brought about by a lot better defence by the Kiwis. Working overtime, it's just have to wonder how much energy it's taking out of them, and these tackles are getting higher and higher. Get to a point where they start missing.
Smith looks left and he finds Nate Miles. Cameron Smith is the dummy half for Australia, still inside their own half. They get over halfway there with Tom Leroy-Lars.
Good tactics by Australia. Obviously, Tim Sheens, the coach, has got the message out. Just calm it down. Don't get too frustrated. Just go through your job.
Thaiday gets the pass away to Brent Tate. He sees a gap, does Tate. Lockyer was hunting on his shoulder.
Good tackle by Manu. It had to be as well.
Smith gets it away, and here comes Leroy-Lars again. He gives it back to Cameron Smith. Good scrambling defence, though, from Greg Eastwood. It's the last tackle here for Australia. And it's Cronk again. Hoisted high. Should be Perrotts, and is.
Oh, he did well to keep in the field of play. Juggled with it.
They defended that set very, very well. Very aggressive. Winger takes the ball down the end. They'll get confidence out of that. They bullied the Australians to an extent in that set.
And another bully comes onto the field again. It's Adam Blair. Down to Bill.
Sad sight. Luke Lewis has just re-emerged from the dressing room. It looks like the right ankle that's the problem. He's come back out on crutches. Quite obviously his Four Nations tournament is over, but he is back out on the sidelines to see what is a bruising contest. I don't think Lewis is going to be the only casualty at the end of the night. Let's hope there's nobody else on crutches. There's blood being spilt. Greg Eastwood has had to have treatment. Sam Thaiday has been in the wars. He's just trudging back now, and they're keeping an eye on him as well.
Yes, it's a bruising test match. It's a brutal test match. It's a brutal Four Nations final. The Australians just ahead at the moment and in possession here with Brett Morris.
It was good pressure, though, by the green and golds, and it was a poor kick in the end. Goes straight down the throat of Billy Slater is not the best thing.
Lote Tuqiri. Slater waits dummy half for the Aussies. Here is Lockyer. Oh, there's a mistake from Gallen. That's been a rare thing in this Four Nations.
Took his eyes off the ball. Look at the defenders. Not surprising the way that the defence from either side is getting into them. But as you say, he's been one of the stars of this competition.
And Eddie, whatever the clock ticks and the score's on a 6-0, the pressure mounts on Australia, not on New Zealand. As favourites at home, maybe that was an indication of the tension creeping in. They haven't run away like they have in previous Four Nations games, putting on the points on the scoreboard. And New Zealand are clearly in this genuinely now. I think the belief amongst the Kiwis will be very high at present.
10 Queenslanders in the starting lineup for Australia tonight. Lewis was one of them. Lewis, rather, one of the ones who isn't, along with Morris and Gallen. And now we have Sean Kenny-Dowell, New Zealand's Player of the Year, who will play the ball there to Jason Nightingale.
Now, what do the Kiwis have? Can they get the combination? Nathan Feen, Benji Marshall, the two halfbacks. Can they get the link out wide?
Only 7 minutes of this first half remaining. Eastwood up the middle again. Nathan Feen waiting. He gets the ball first receiver. Then gives it to Benji Marshall. He pops it up then. That's a great run from Sikamanu. Halted by Gallen.
Should have been looking for the offload. They had support. Good work from Feen.
And to Marshall. Spun to the ground by Brent Tate, finished off by Darren Lockyer. Here's Nathan Feen. Last tackle here for the Kiwis. It's with Ohio. It put boot to ball. A tester here for Lote Tuqiri. The cavalry's coming. It's bounced. Who did it bounce off? It's a knock-on by New Zealand. Australia breathe a sigh of relief.
But isn't this better play? They're putting them under pressure. I love the malevolence in the Kiwi defence. They're hitting them. There's bitterness and there's aggression in this defence. It's a joy to behold. While the game mightn't be as free-flowing as we sometimes expect, enjoy this part of the defence.
Yes, it's mean, isn't it? It's cruel and it's uncompromising from both sides. 6 minutes to half-time. The Four Nations final of 2010 is poised on a knife edge. The Australians with a controversial try, foot in touch in the build-up, not seen by the officials, but look at this defence, and they're growing in confidence. Second by second are the Kiwis. Cameron Smith, Lockyer, charged down by Eastwood. Can he pick it up? Yes, he can.
He did well. He didn't panic. His legs was trying to get there as quickly as possible.
Looked like he was running in wet cement, but he got the ball anyway. And here's a drive forward now by Harrison for New Zealand. This is a great opportunity for them.
He's
just
lost
before
it.
half-time.
He's lost it. Well, surely the touch judge had seen this. No!
Apparently not. Eastwood.
Well, that could be a square up. The Australian try, definitely a foot in touch in the build-up to it. And that was a drop ball not seen by any of the officials.
Benji Marshall gets the pass away to Nathan Feen. Just a little juggle. This is Mannering. Mannering getting so close to the line, and the green and gold jerseys arrive in numbers to force him back. Suddenly the Kiwis are enthused by this. They're excited by this. It's with Lance Ohaya. Lance Ohaya sees the gap, and the gap is closed. On the last now, New Zealand.
Just didn't have the speed there. Oh, that's forward a mile.
It's Sean Kenny-Dowell. It's Sean Kenny-Dowell fed by Benji Marshall. It's a try that's given. And Sean Kenny-Dowell over for the try for the Kiwis. A little bit of Marshall magic again opens up Australia. 6-4. Australians booing. They, like Steve-O, believe the pass was forward.
What is it with Tony Archer and forward passes?
Well, we'll see easily here. That is forward. It was passed on the line, it was picked up over it. And Kenny-Dowell has been given the try. Now, did that touch judge stand on the line? I'm not so sure. Was it ignored by Tony Archer? Well, 2 tries, controversy written all over them.
Sean Kenny-Dowell, as I say, New Zealand's Player of the Year, the best centre in the world at the RLIF ceremony in Auckland, and he's just picked up his 6th try for New Zealand. But a touch of controversy. Was this forward? Not that, this next one from Marshall.
Well, he's under the line, and he's over the line when he takes it. And that should have been spotted by the touch judge.
Well, Eagle Eyes, you, Steve-O, spotted that from up here. They didn't at pitch level. Benji Marshall then with a chance to level the scores in the Four Nations final. What a boost this would be for the Kiwis coming in at half-time. Marshall doesn't miss those. 6-all. 2 minutes to the break, and all that pressure from New Zealand has told in the end.
And what a psychological boost it will be for the Kiwis. Watch him stop on the line. And he's going over the forward. You can see that it's drifting forward.
Maybe he got benefit of the doubt because he was going backwards in the challenge.
That ball is forward out of Benji Marshall's hands. I've got no doubt. That's forward out of his hands. Look, mistakes happen. We saw it in the England game and against Australia. Tony Archer, same referee. But I believe that ball was forward out of his hands.
And if most of the Australian fans here in this huge stadium will agree with us. But now it's all square, you could say. The scales have been balanced.
And the balance is there on the scoreboard for you all to see as well, as Frank Paul Nu'uausala played that ball. Here's Sika Manu. But they're coping with the pressure of this situation well, the Kiwis, aren't they?
They've lifted for this. Importantly, Eddie, they've had more than 50% of possession in the game. And I've referred to that in this Four Nations. The underdog, New Zealand or England, when they've played, need at least, if not more than 50% to have a chance. Now, Australia in previous games have controlled the ball better and dominated the ball, but here now tonight, they are seriously under pressure.
That's a great kick from Benji Marshall. It's turned, well, it bounces a little bit unkindly for him, but it turned Billy Slater around.
He's happy with that, and again, kicking early on the fourth tackle.
That is a good kick. Australians slowly retreat back. New Zealand set defensive line. There's times when that is a good kick, the ball going dead.
And let's not forget, in the humidity that we've got here in the Suncorp Stadium tonight, the Australians with Luke Lewis off the field on crutches will not be playing any further part in this. And so the Kiwis will know that the Aussies' fitness is going to be tested absolutely to the limit here tonight at the end of a very long season.
Well, we said the Kiwis had to really lift in the defensive department, and Stephen Kearney would have worked hard on that.
Oh, Lockyer to Thaiday. There's the mistake. And the Kiwis are moving quickly to form the scrum. They have 30 seconds remaining. The referee will stop the clock.
Well, the World Cup showed us 2 years ago, Eddie, and this same thing happened here. Australia can't play to their optimum every single week. They were great in the game against England, and they were great last week in New Zealand, but they can't do it 3 weeks in a row. And New Zealand's timing here could be perfect.
Well, they were very quick. Tim Sheen's very quick in the news conferences this week to say, look, last week will count for nothing if we lose this.
No, as a realist, that is for sure.
Now, Mannering, who is operating in the centres tonight, because Junior Sau, a big blow for New Zealand, was injured before the game and was not given the nod by Stephen Kearney. Greg Bird getting a little bit upset with Mannering. Here is Isaac Luke.
Just got to give it to Mayer now. Come on. This is the last chance. Get it up in the air.
He does. Oh, Benji Marshall went for a one-pointer, and that was charged down. Here's the siren. There's the kick behind the defence. Billy Slater will surely just take the tackle. Will he? Yes.
I'm surprised he didn't kick the ball. He took the gamble that he'd go to ground. Either way, 6-all half-time.
Well, every tackle is fiercely contested, and we're on here. The siren sounded, but this has been brewing, and it's the two number 10s. It's Shillington, and it's Adam Blair who started all this, and this has been brewing for 40 minutes.
Greg Eastwood's come over and give David Shillington one when Shillington was being held and he's gone looking for him.
To be fair, you've got to blame the official. Tony Archer has allowed high shots throughout this first half.
And the referee wants everybody back on the field because the two captains are being called towards him here. And Marshall and Lockyer are going to be read the riot act, I think.
Well, he's got to take some responsibility as this Tony Archer.
I think he'll sim bin 2 players here, Eddie.
Oh, surely not.
I think he will.
Surely not.
Why else would he do this then, Brian? He's not just going to stand there and give them a talking here now with the half-time hooter sounded.
They're like school teachers.
Well, he wants the two number 10s who began it all, and the captains. Here we go.
That was silly from Adam Blair. I mean, Matthews.
Do you not think, Brian, you should be sim-bin for that?
No, I don't. I'd be disappointed to be sim-bin to anybody here.
Well, the referee has had a word with all the parties, and he said, look, you've got 10 minutes to calm them down. No one's going to the sin bin. You've got 10 minutes in the half-time dressing rooms to calm your two teams down, Messrs Lockyer and Marshall. Well, a fiery Four Nations final it is.